Trail cams are one of the most helpful modern tools researchers use to capture some of the most shocking things. Some of the findings are unbelievable and bizarre. Join me as we count down to 15, the most shocking moments captured by trail cams. Number 15. Unidentified creature. This clip was reportedly filmed in September of 2017. Like most strange uploads on the internet, users had much to say about it. Unfortunately, the camera didn't capture the full image to help make identification easier, but users were left to guess. First, it resembled a bear judging by the hair on its skin and size, but on second thought it was standing on 2 feet. Again, if you zoom in, you'll realize that it has long claws as bears do. When scientists saw the footage, they explained that it could have been an injured bear. Bears aren't known to walk on their hind legs when injured, but it's also possible that the animal in this video is otherworldly. It may have deliberately stood on its hind legs to avoid detection from the camera hidden on a tree. Maybe the animal channel that posted the video has further details about the creature, but it's deliberately hiding it from us. Number 14. Buck on a bucket. This clip has got to be one of the funniest yet most emotional moments caught on a trail cam. This buck had a bucket stuck on its antlers and was confused about what to do next. To make matters even worse, the bucket's balanced on its head so much that despite the animal's efforts to get it out, it wouldn't move an inch away from its head. We can see how the poor animal struggled between life and death during this period. Hopefully it gets help from a good Samaritan before it's too late. While we don't know how the bucket got to its head, we can guess that he might have been walking in the forest when he saw it. Of course, his first reaction would be to headbutt it. Unfortunately, the bucket stuck to the antlers and refused to let go. Maybe the people who set the camera deliberately placed the bucket in the forest as a trap. We all know how uncomfortable it is carrying a bucket over one's face for a few seconds, and one could suffocate from a lack of air if this is done for a prolonged period. Number 13. Ghost Girl. Because some landowners in Cambridge, New York decided to set up trail cams in the forest, another group followed suit. While the first wanted to monitor activities on their land, the second needed surveillance for hunting purposes. They thought the camera would capture wild animals roaming around and suggest the direction they walked past. But no, they got a different surprise. When they got to the location the next morning to replay the clip, they found the picture of a young girl in the woods. They were understandably unnerved and tried to find any answers for it. When they asked the locals, they denied hearing strange movements in the woods, but confirmed that a child died around the area some years ago. She was buried in the forest after being hit by a train. The child's height and age are nearly the same as the victim of the train crash. When paranormal experts were invited to air their views, they confirmed that there was more to the picture than meets the eye. That child could have been dead for a long time, but her spirit roamed in the forest. Number 12. Goblin. Bikers take their skill to virtually all parts of the world. Sometimes they spice it up by adding nerve-cracking stunts. This group of bikers in Indonesia took their craft to the forest because they wanted a new experience. They encountered a strange creature a few feet away from them as they drove. The sight was so unsettling that one of them fell from his bike in shock. They became pretty curious and they ran after the strange thing. Unfortunately, it ran into the bush and disappeared into thin air. Efforts to get it back out proved futile. When the men left the forest, they uploaded the video online to hear people's opinions. While some said it was a goblin, others simply called it an elk. Whatever the case, how did the animal disappear from the view of the camera so quickly? It might have buried itself in the sand or disappeared into the alien world. There's been no one accepting of the explanation for this sighting, though. Number 11. Deformed deer. This wildlife hunter set up a trail cam to capture some of the animals that can be seen in the vicinity. When he checked the footage the next day, he was amazed at what it caught. He was so shocked that he had to double-check the video before uploading it to the internet. After studying the images to be sure he had seen the right thing, he noticed that deer was off. He thought it was an ordinary animal until he zoomed in. He then realized that the deer had 2 noses. Was it an alien or simply a mutation? Weird thing is, the second nose is on the first one, making it look like an extraterrestrial creature. This shocking finding made the man glued to the video, as he couldn't understand what could have deformed the animal like that. His family was twice as confused as he was and even suggested that the camera might have given the animal an illusion of a double body part. When the clip was sent to the Pennsylvania Game Commission, they confirmed that an injury around the nose might have caused the deformity. They confirmed that the animal had suffered an injury that revealed its nasal passages. Aside from the twin noses, the animal behaved fine and didn't look like it was in pain. Number 10. Pale child. A similar story has been told of a lost child found years later roaming in the forest. It was believed that she was crushed to death by a moving vehicle, and her body was never found until a trail cam revealed clues that she may have been the one that died in an accident. This camera may also expose what may have led to this child roaming in the woods at this time. The child looked pale, as though he didn't go out in the sun. Closer look at the figure suggests the child may not be from this world. Come to think of it, which right-thinking parent would allow their child out at the wee hours of the night? Even if this happens, an adult would have been around to provide guidance. Could this be another spirit hunting the people in this city? During times like these, homeowners are grateful for the invention of cameras. While this child might be a harmless child seeking shelter, no one wants to be associated with him because doing so might land you in trouble. Number 9. Deer rituals. It's not uncommon to find deer playing and fighting in the wild. However, there could be a lot more that they do behind the scenes. This wildlife explorer sets his camera in the forest throughout the night to catch a glimpse of what happens whenever he is away. Of course, he knew that animals live normal lives, but he wanted to be sure if something spooky happened while he slept. This footage seems like the person who installed the camera is prying into the secret lives of the deer kingdom. That's really what it is. We're unsure if both animals are making sacrifices, but it sort of looks like it. Anyone who sees this will feel threatened because their actions exceed our expectations. These animals are up to something, but we just don't know what. Next time you're in the woods, be careful with these unpredictable animals. Number 8. Porcupine reunite. Love is a beautiful thing for both humans and animals. While we try to monopolize the concept of love and affection, animals have defined it uniquely and acted it out. Sometimes they don't display acts of love when everyone's watching, but they sure know what it is about. The best way to view animals sharing love is at night when everyone's asleep. Trail cameras have helped researchers expose some hidden truths, and this isn't an exception. Dave visited Southeast Asia during his gap year and was forced to film a few nights in the wild. In one of the filming sessions, he captured the moment when two porcupines reunited. It was a touching moment for both animals and viewers alike. One of the animals prepared a nice dish of twig casserole for the other, and the two were excited to spend the evening together. Maybe they would be broken apart a few hours later, and they wanted to love themselves as much as possible while it lasted. Seems the rodent world is quite interesting, actually. Number 7. SASQUATCH. Whether you call them Bigfoot or Sasquatch, it's hard to discourage someone who believes in their existence. This is because they've been captured by CCTV, trail, dash phone, and regular cameras. While their physical features differ slightly depending on the person that saw them, they're easily identifiable. This clip gives us clues as to what this animal looks like. We don't know if it's the Bigfoot or Sasquatch, but we can tell it's a humanoid creature. It's scouring the forest, but it's unclear what it's searching for. Because the video isn't clear, many guess that the forest might be near a zoo. Therefore, the animal in the video could be a chimpanzee escaping captivity. Better still, it also passes for the description of a human-chimp hybrid. On the other hand, it could also be a skinny bear who hasn't had a healthy meal in the past few days. Because we can't conclude if this is a humanoid creature or not, it leaves room for different conspiracy theories. Number 6. Demonic moose. The last time a trail camera captured the moment a buck was stuck on moose antlers, it drew pity from online watchers. They hoped that the animal would get the help it deserved. In the same breath, if you saw this moose in this clip, you'd wish something drastic was done to it. It looks like a real demon that headbutted another innocent animal. You can guess that their antlers aren't just fanciful appendages on their head, but are there for a reason. It'd be best if you aren't quick to call out this animal until you hear the full story. This moose is only growing antlers, and the strange draping isn't the flesh of another animal or a human, but it's actually called velvet. Velvet is a soft skin on the antlers, which they shed as they gain more testosterone during mating season. Eventually, the structures harden to bone, and they shake off the outer layers when the season is over. Therefore, this moose did not headbutt any animal to death. It just looks creepy. Number 5. Raccoon selfie. Some animals often shy away from the camera, while others don't. When wildlife explorers visit the forest, they're always careful around some animals because these beasts would often pounce on them if they notice they have a camera and are filming. Well, some animals, like the raccoon, don't care about being in the news, provided they would showcase their beautiful face, of course. This rodent probably saw the explorer install this camera in the forest and waited patiently for him to leave. Seeing that the deer in the background would steal its minute of fame, it ran to the front of the camera to photobomb the grazing animal. Although this picture may have been better appreciated if the raccoon wasn't there, pretty unique regardless. The presence of the raccoon in the photo creates an element of bewilderment. You can see its eyes glaring straight at the camera lens, confused. Perhaps the camera startled the critter with a flash that drew it closer. Maybe it made a clicking noise. Well, whatever drew it closer, the animal got its seconds of fame. Number 4. Flying squirrel. Squirrels aren't dangerous per se. However, they have devised smarter ways to attack their opponents and get them to be scared. Although they don't do much, these seeming predators become scared when encountering them. Flying squirrels are known for their notorious aerial attacks. They soar high in the sky and strike like a hot knife through butter. These tactics help them attack above because they're easily crushed from beneath. This clip shows the moment a flying squirrel terrifies a deer so much that it runs from pillar to post in the utmost confusion. The hidden camera captured the larger animal trying to escape the smaller animal's wrath. Sadly, we're not as lucky to see how the video ended, but we can guess that this flying beast caught the deer and dealt with it before moving to another victim. Flying squirrels have a special membrane in their front and back legs that allow them to glide through the air between trees. It uses slight movements of the legs to steer, while the tail acts as a brake upon reaching its destination. This animal is said to cover about 150 feet in a single glide. Now on to our unknown topic. Remember when the raccoon was desperate for a selfie? Well, it appears it has a colleague. Trail cams catch the animals and strange creatures lurking in the forest by surprise, but this doesn't seem to be the case here. This cat probably didn't know a camera was somewhere around, but was drawn to it because of something it perceived as off. The animal took the pain of climbing on a tree where the camera hid to catch a glimpse of it. Maybe this isn't a cat or any known animal lurking in the forest, but I'll leave you to decide what it is. In the meantime, looks gorgeous anyways. Number 3. Prying eyes. People who set up trail cameras in the wild know what to expect. Sometimes you hit your target of capturing as many wild animals as you want. At other times, other strange creatures show up. This clip captures the moment 2 strange eyes glared at the camera from the woods. Given the time it was filmed, you can imagine how scared anyone watching it feels. Some experts say the first pair of eyes belong to a raccoon, while the other's unknown. You can trust internet users to invent explanations for their prying eyes, even if they don't make a lot of sense sometimes. Some were quick to call the strange creature an alien. Others said they didn't believe any of the eyes were of any known animal. We later learned that the person that installed the camera wanted to catch a glimpse of a bobcat that roamed the forest. Fortunately, he got more than he bargained for. Number 2. Mother Fox. Away from the chaos in the animal kingdom when no one is watching, see how far animals go to care for their loved ones. Despite the struggles of the day, mother animals still make time to care for their young. You can see the affectionate bonding that exists between the mother fox and her cubs in this video. She allows all 8 of them to suckle from her breast while she stays calm. Like many mammalian mothers, the fox allows several of its young to feed at once. While the babies have to fight for a chance, the mother is patient enough to allow all of them to feed to their satisfaction. If she didn't do that, she'd be called out for being a bad parent. So far, we haven't seen any wildlife experts call out mother foxes for being bad mothers, though. However, such things happen in the animal kingdom when mothers abandon their kids to fend for themselves shortly after birth. Regardless of the negativity peddled among animals, the relationship between the fox and her children should be admired. It's one of the most cuddly, cutest, and heartwarming things to see. Number 1. Raccoon and hog. Sometimes animals like to ride on each other. This relationship benefits both animals, which is why they permit it. Biologists call this relationship mutualism or mildly parasitic. It's hard to decipher if the animals captured on this trail cam are having the best time, but we can assume so. They look okay with it, but you can guess that one animal may be stylishly preying on the other. This raccoon in particular is riding a hog. It's trying its best to climb to a more comfortable position to reach out to food hanging on a tree. Such heights are not the easiest to reach, especially if you're a tiny raccoon. This is one of the many desperate ways animals search for food. Seeing that it would never reach this food, it asks for help. Unfortunately, we don't know if it would share a piece of the delicacy with its helper or much alone. Raccoons aren't so nice, especially when they invade homes searching for edible items. Their silly little acts earn them the name the Masked Bandit for a reason. See you all in the next episode.